Here's what I want to talk about. Uh, oh, Hila's ready, so here we'll do this thing then. Obviously, everybody's heard about what's happening in Israel.
Do you want me to let her in now?
Yeah, you can let her in.
Okay. So,
Um, you know, oh hey, Hila, I just started talking about it.
Pitch, right? The one that turns into a circle.
I see her behind a little bit. I see the delay. Can you hear me?
Hey, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to talk about it.
Okay.
So over
I
the
didn't, I, it's a delay, so I didn't realize.
so over the weekend, Hamas, who was the governing, I mean, they're a terrorist organization, but they're also control Gaza Strip. They somehow managed to put together this surprise invasion of into Israel, um, and it was it was horrific. There was so far at least 700 Israelis died, which is nuts. One of the crazy things was there was a nature party, a peace party they actually call it, ironically, and I guarantee a lot of people there were um,
Hmm.
pro peace, as
Yeah.
who are
I mean,
anti Netanyahu and all that kind of stuff. And so,
they were all, yeah, for sure. They were all young. Um, Definitely that type of crowd that is unhappy with the government.
260 people got violently, brutally murdered by terrorists. And the really sad, kind of crazy thing is that I don't know if this has changed, but last that I heard, Hamas didn't even know about the party. They just happened upon it. That's fucking that. Ugh. And so, but that was only 260. They were also invading lots of villages and kibbutz and towns,
Hmm.
and just going, build door to door and just murdering families, kidnapping children, killing children, kidnapping, desecrating people's bodies. I mean, just the most horrific acts of terror that you can imagine on on an insane scale too. One of the crazy parts was, or Ela was watching Israeli news when it first started happening because I don't think American news had really caught up yet. But there was people calling in from like their safe room or their houses or from hiding, being like whispering, like,
Yeah, it was so hard. And like, I've been watching the news nonstop since it started. And that on that day, it started at 6 a.m. Saturday. And the whole day, people were calling the news because they called police, they called everybody, and nobody was coming to help them for hours until like late that day, which was too late for most of them. And yeah, I heard awful calls like moms with their children whispering in their safe room, like I I can hear them outside. I hear gunshots everywhere.
oh
Please send
yeah,
somebody. Please send somebody.
oh yeah, and then so families would be locked in these safe rooms, and then the terrorists would light the house on fire.
Hmm.
You
So
know,
some they just light on fire. Some they ended up getting to. Some they kidnapped, and you see stories of like there's one guy who found out through a video on socials that his wife and two young children and mother-in-law were all taken hostages. The mom and the children went to visit the mother-in-law, and he wasn't with them. And he ended up seeing the video of them being taken away on socials. And then he's calling the news on that day, and he's telling them, I just saw this, and nobody's calling me, nobody's telling me anything. And that's still until now. All the families that have people taken from them, they have nobody calling them, like no officials. There's no lines of support for them, nothing. I think the government is so overwhelmed because this was such a surprise for everybody. It's just like horrific stories one after the other. And most of this has just been like people, the citizens themselves creating support groups. People are cooking now and sending other people food. There's all kinds of stuff happening. They're just like people trying to help people right now.
So the part that dude, I had a hard time being online because, first of all, this always happens in conflicts like this, but there's so many fake fucking videos and stuff people post. But then the other thing that's been really hard is seeing. You know what? Let me do this. Before I even talk about this, let me just tell you, first of all, just so it's not ambiguous about how I feel about this situation as a whole. Okay? Let me just say this. Fucking disgusting weirdos. I tweeted this. I think this was when the IDF blew up some apartment building or some fucking horrific shit in Gaza a few years ago. I said the Israeli government's making me sick. Even if Hamas is operating as civilian buildings, it doesn't justify the total destruction of that building. It's inhumane. Netanyahu's a piece of shit warmonger. It needs to go. As a dual citizen, I love Israel and the Israeli people. They deserve a government that actually believes in peace and not force and violence. The ultra-right Jewish settlers are among the greatest provocateurs in the world. They're shameless, hateful, fueled by religious zeal, and enabled by the Israeli government. I wish the settling and repositioning of Palestinian land would stop. I wish the bombing in Gaza would stop. Gazans deserve to live a life free of fear. For all the crimes Hamas has committed, we must always remember that they are not Palestine. The Israeli government holds all the power and is on them to stop the violence and show a true willingness for peace. Okay. So just so it's not unambiguous, and also if you need further proof, I was honored by this Twitter poster. Do we not have the original one? Can you find the original one? I don't know how how big this went. PSA for those new to the Israel-Palestine fandom, which is a really fucking... She's being cynical, I think, right? Here's an important refresher. I made it to the celebrities who support Palestine, and very flattering. Actually, a lot of the comments were like, "Is that Ethan picture real?" Yes, it's from a while ago. She said. There was there's more here. No, that's not real. He photoshopped it because the main insult that Andrew Tate types with throw at him is he's being fat, and then she responded, "Literally has it on his PFP. Pretty sure it's him." So there we go.
Which I like the top comment in our thread on Reddit said, especially when their profile picture is of Olivia Wilde, and we can plainly just assume that they are not Olivia Wilde in this current moment.
I guess maybe I should update it. I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, maybe I should update my fucking profile pic.
Maybe it's time.
Maybe it's time.
It must have been deleted. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, okay.
I found this post was deleted by the post author, and I found like all of the comments underneath where she's like, "Yes, it's from a while ago," and then someone's like, "No, it's not real."
They realized that it was wrong.
Literally has it on their profile photo. Pretty sure it's him. Wait, how do we know for certain though? Maybe he said it because deep down it is him.
Just go to my podcast. I do 5 episodes a week. Damn. Just go click something. Anyway, whatever. I don't care. It was funny.
Yeah.
But the point is, before anyone thinks otherwise, let me just get that out of the way. Now, the thing that I've been seeing online that makes me fucking sick is that just like brazen, enthusiastic support for Hamas. Like this, so there was, even before Israeli responded at all, like the first 12 hours was just wanton massacre of civilians, kidnapping, desecrating of bodies, just absolute terrible, unjustifiable violence and terrorism. And immediately I see so many leftists being like, I stand with Palestine, which I do stand with Palestine, right? But if there's not unprovoked, but if there's a terrorist attack where 700 people are killed, and your immediate response is, "I stand with Palestine," how am I supposed to interpret that other than I stand with Hamas? Israel hasn't done anything. They haven't airstriked Gaza. All that's happening is that they're trying to count dead bodies. But that's not the most gruesome takes, but I've seen a lot of that. And it's like, am I missing something? I don't see any other way to interpret, like, I stand with Palestine. First of all, an insult to Palestinians. There's 2 million people there, and I guarantee you a lot of them aren't fucking terrorists or for terrorism. So, you know what I mean? That I don't think that represents the people of Palestine and does anyone a favor. It just seems to me like they're cheering on fucking terrorists. Am I missing something? Like, I don't know how else I'm supposed to interpret that. The only thing that they're saying I agree with is that 700 people were murdered in cold blood. Burned alive, desecrated. I don't get it. It's disgusting. It's actually really horrific. I've seen it so much. That's not just saying you're pro-Palestine wasn't the worst stuff I've seen, though. And I don't want to call anybody out because I don't want to get into it, honestly. But I've seen a few prominent lefties. I'm sure you've seen them all that are just like, they don't fucking care. They just don't care. It's really sad. It's like really sad. It's like America and Iraq, we killed a fuckload of people there. Horrific. So imagine a group of terrorists, Iraqi terrorists, made it into LA, went to a neighborhood, and just started killing everybody, going into houses, dragging them out, burning them alive, kidnapping kids, desecrating people's bodies. Who's going to go, I stand with the people of Iraq right after that happens? That's psychotic.
I just saw a survivor from the rave party, talking about his experience, and it's horrific. I think it's hard to explain to people what people just went through. But he saw all of his friends die in front of him. They were all trying to hide, and a terrorist came and just shot all of them point blank in the face, looking at them and smiling, and then dragging bodies and dancing and playing music. It's just, that's just barbaric. That's just disgusting.
It's just the people's like their hate for Israel is like preventing people from. It's like they're supporting Hamas terrorism, and you see all kinds of takes like on one hand, I understand that there's not. Let me pull this up. Choose my words carefully here. You know, the other thing is that there's another misconception that these people who are being killed are settlers. There are no settlements around Gaza. These are just normal-ass towns. These are normal people living normal lives in their little communities. The settlements are in the West Bank. Every settlement around Gaza was evacuated in 2005 forcibly by the government.
Those were normal people of very different political leaning. Like, some were probably left-leaning and some were probably right. Just like here, how you have conservative and you have Democrat. A lot of people in Israel are not happy with the government. There's been so many protests in the last year. The whole country practically has been protesting. And so it's not like everybody that died is a settler. The settlers are like the crazies of Israel.
So people make what I think is a decent point. They say settlers aren't civilians. They're, inserting themselves into this violent clash. And I agree with that to an extent. I understand. And so people who are desperate to defend Hamas are saying that these people were settlers. They were not settlers. There's no settlements around Gaza. These were just normal motherfucking people. Children, family, kids. And It's really disturbing, frankly, the amount of people that I've seen just like are like, let's go, let's fucking go. I stand with Palestine right after a terrorist attack. Am I crazy? That I know what that means. I stand with Palestine too. But if right after the planes hit the World Trade Center, you saying something like, I don't even know what to say. I stand with Al Qaeda. I mean, what the fuck? I guess that's not the same. I think my analogy of Iraqis invading LA is good. We fucking did so much wrong shit to the Iraqi people and the country. Nobody sane would even disagree with that at this point. And a lot of the same stuff I'm seeing people say about Palestine, you could say, what are the Iraqis supposed to do? They don't have any recourse. This is the only way they can express themselves. You know what I mean? Like they have every right. Oh, I've seen seeing this stuff too. They're calling it self-defense. They go, libs are like so excited for Palestinian rights and for the apartheid to end, but when they do something about it, then everyone pauses. Like them doing something about it is murdering 700 civilians in just the most horrific way possible. And so if you imagine that 1,000 Iraqis somehow invaded LA as, as revenge for the awful things the American government did there, right? So we could look at that and say, sure, in a sense, I get it, right? And you could say like, oh, America deserves it, whatever. Like in the sense of justice, like I understand that concept that you're getting at. But when they go to a block, a neighborhood of people and just, again, in the most violent, disgusting, inhumane, barbaric way, murdering kids, kidnapping kids, desecrating bodies, burning people alive, and then you're going to go, I stand with Iraq? I mean, that's fucking crazy. You can stand with Iraq and also condemn Hamas being fucking monsters, which people don't want to do. It's crazy, And Hamas, they're not... Dude, they're not freedom fighters. Hamas is fucking terrorists. They terrorize the people of Gaza just as much, you know what I mean? They're just like a fundamental fucking extremist terrorist group. They also terrorize the Palestinians that are under their rule. It's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy, man. It's really nauseating to see some of the people, just ignoring that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And again, I can look at it and say that, Ethan, you're being intentionally choose. Shut the fuck up.
People are saying Israel does that on the daily. The idea
I don't.
does that on the
That's
daily.
not what I'm talking about. See, that's what you're doing. You're excusing people being burned alive and kids being murdered. You're saying Israel does that on the daily. Okay. Now I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. So are you in favor of an Iraqi terrorist cell coming to kill everyone in your neighborhood? Are you willing to sacrifice your life to an Iraqi terrorist for what we did in Iraq? Go ahead. I don't see the difference. I don't. I mean, shit, America killed 1 million Iraqis by some estimates. That's a hell of a lot more than Palestinians who have died at the hands of Israel. So let's bring an Iraqi terrorist group to your neighborhood and you just go out and be slaughtered and your mom be slaughtered and your kids be slaughtered and you burned alive. Fucking barbaric. It's horrific. And again, I'm saying that I support Palestine. There's no other way for me to fucking, I don't know how more I can express that, Here's an Israeli, because it's shekels. They say Palestinians voted Hamas into power in 2006. Ethan, they represent the Palestinian people. Dude, I don't think the Palestinians understood the scope of what Hamas, who they are. And I don't think there's been free elections since that happened. It's been, yeah, and 2006 was a long fucking time ago. Hamas, they took power and they stayed in power. They're violent fucking terrorists. And I don't think it's fair to say that Hamas represents Palestinians. There's 2 million people there. They're not all terrorists, okay? Gaza's an open air prison. Okay, I agree, but I agree. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So go fucking sacrifice your family to Iraqi terrorists if you care about freedom so much. Like, there's just a callousness that I've seen online and support for just violent fucking terrorists that's been nauseating. You know. Standing with Palestine. Oh, there's so many comments. Ethan, please learn more about this. Shut the fuck up. You're clearly
Maybe
taking
you
a side
guys
here, you
need-
loser. You can't.
I think Ethan has a lot of credibility to talk about it. He lived there for 5 years and he's married to an Israeli.
I know you care about.
It's kind of funny to like sit in America and think that you know better than somebody who lives in Israel.
Go, please go. Let's go bring the Iraqi terrorists to your block to murder your whole family, and then talk about how it's justified. If you care about Palestine, the way you're framing it is a really bad take. What, that fucking burning families alive should be condemned? Is that a bad take? Then you need to fucking see a doctor. If that's a bad take, you need to see a doctor. Okay? Like, I can't emphasize how much Israel has suppressed, fucking destroyed, ruined Palestinians' lives. The worst thing that's so hard impossible to defend is the settlements that are government sanctioned in the West Bank. It's horrific, and it is an act of war and an act of fucking, cultural genocide, and it's horrific. Okay, right? And the government of Israel is a colossal failure. Netanyahu's a war criminal, a fucking psycho. I voted against him every time I could, and young people don't fucking want him in there either. I mean, the whole country of Israel.
They hate him. They hate the government. They literally have been protesting. They've been out on the streets like the whole last year. People there are so fed up with the government in Israel. They could not feel any worse about it. They do not feel the government represents them at all.
Oh, this is a good analogy too. Let's say a group of and I'm not saying that these are peaceful people. Again, I'm only speaking hypothetically. Let's say a group of Native American terrorists come off of a reservation and come to your fucking neighborhood and start killing everybody, dude. Are you gonna be like, hey, I support.
Say, okay, I deserve it. Come shoot me. Come rape me.
But listen, because
I was born in this country. Just come and rape me freely. It's my fault. No, if I was there, I would fight for my family and for my home because I need a home to live. My family needs a home to live in, right?
And it's
a basic right. Everybody needs that. And the same for Palestinians. I'm not saying they don't. Just like Ethan said, I never voted for Bibi in my life. I never would.
People are wishing death on these kibbutz families, kids, women. Their only crime is being born somewhere. Same as the Palestinians, frankly. I mean, obviously, it's way better off to be on the Israel side, but their crime is being born somewhere. They didn't choose to be born in fucking Israel. They didn't choose to be part of this political turmoil, and they weren't settlers. So think about what they're saying when immediately after a terrorist attack, people are saying, I support Palestine. And what they don't mean Palestine, they mean Hamas. Let's say the Native Americans, they come to your neighborhood and they just start burning people alive, killing people, kidnapping kids, desecrating bodies. And the first take is, I support the Native American revenge. I support Native American militia. I support Native Americans. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, of course I support Native Americans too, but like, did you not just see that they killed 700 people? Somebody said I found it too. Oh, maybe I shouldn't read that. Did catch my attention though, and it wasn't about this. I'm only saying that from what I saw, there are people on fucking Twitter, prominent lefties, who are so callous. They feel nothing for these fucking dumbest analogy possible. Shut the fuck up. What's dumber? What could be? It's right on. How's it dumb? The Iraqi one, the Native American one, they're pretty much right on. It's war, innocent people die. All right, so let's bring the Iraqis out, Iraqi terrorist group to your neighborhood and see if you care. If people murder everyone you love, burn them alive. You're such fucking cowards, such losers. You're sitting here in America. By the way, America, who's probably committed the most atrocious crimes against humanity of any recent country. And you're going to sit here and be like, go Hamas? Get a grip, dude. It's literally Columbus Day. That's true. That is an interesting coincidence. I'm sorry. I don't see what's possibly wrong with the analogy. How? How is it wrong? How is it a bad analogy?
I think what people don't understand when they say that is like what it means to somebody in Israel who's going through grieving right now of so many people around them and their life as it used to be. Nobody knows right now what to expect and how long this war is going to last. Like when you come out and say free Palestine after they just lost everybody, they have children taken away from them. That's not, if you're really for humanitarian reasons, that's not what you should be saying right now.
And I'm free Palestine too, right? It's just the timing. I know what it is. You're saying I support Hamas. I mean, that's what you're saying. Maybe not even intentionally, but that is,
it might not be intentionally, but that is what it means. And that their mission was to kill all Jewish people.
700 fucking people were murdered, dude. Kids, man. They're killing kids, dude. Kidnapping children, burning them alive. And y'all are like, let's go Hamas. Not y'all, but like the left. There's some fucking liberals. They don't care, man. They don't care. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy. In the same sense, it's like we all want peace. And I'm readily admit everything that the government of Israel has done to instigate this, right? And like I also can look at it and admit that the terrorist attack is a consequence of Israel's occupation. I see that and I understand what you're saying. That being said, I'm pretty sure that you don't need to slaughter 700 civilians and
That number is going to go up, by the way. There's 2,000 injured still, besides that 700, and a lot of them are in a bad condition.
Yeah, and again, it's like the people that they're killing are probably the majority of them are free Palestine too.
Innocent people.
Palestinian children are dying right now too. Right? Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
And I'm not saying
that.
Go Israel. When Israel goes and bombs.
I wouldn't celebrate that. I wouldn't put on music and start dancing to that.
I wouldn't when Israel attacks blows up like a residential building, I don't go to Twitter and say I stand with Israel. I mean, some people do, right? And that's barbaric too. That's psychotic. But I don't do that. And if y'all really want peace, it just makes me wonder, like, do you really think that cheering on Hamas killing 700 people and to be going up is like the Israeli military and even the people of Israel now are being galvanized to go on a full-scale fucking invasion of Gaza? Like the result of this is going to be so horrific, and I feel for the people of Gaza. I feel so bad for them and what's gonna happen to them. And Netanyahu's a fucking moron. He goes, "People in Gaza, get out now because we're gonna level it." It's like, get out where, dumbass? It's like a joke that he says that, and he's a bloodthirsty fucking lunatic. But like the result of this is going to be, I'm scared to even imagine the casualties that are going to happen as a result of this in Gaza. And so that's all I'm saying. I mean, this was a terrorist attack. It doesn't seem hard to be like, I'm sorry that happened. It's sad. I don't support Hamas. I just don't see that being that hard. It seems pretty uncontroversial to just not support Hamas and a radical terrorist organization. It's crazy. Doesn't seem that hard. You guys stop chat?
No.
No. I've seen people that I like and that I followed doing it's been really hard to see, doing just straight up Hamas propaganda, man.
Like what?
I don't even want to say it, dude. I don't want to get into it with people. It's too fucked up.
Well, maybe you don't have to say who, but like what is being
Okay,
said
so
that's upsetting.
All right, you tell me if you think
if
this
you
is,
don't want to.
You tell me if you think this is fucked up. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me pull this up.
The reason I asked is just because you yourself saying that, you have a lot of sympathy for Palestinians and understand the Free Palestine movement and everything. And I just wonder, are people explicitly saying that they like Hamas, or are you reading between the lines?
How would you interpret? Okay, here, let me show you this, and then you tell me what you think. Hold on, I'm trying to find this post. I'm just scrolling. So much fucking. Hold on.
Did you send something?
No, I'm scrolling still. Go ahead.
Hold music.
Ugh, God. So many posts.
Something I would chime in with, obviously I'm not from there. I do have a family member who lives in Israel. He's lived there since the 60s. And so I was speaking to him over the weekend. And I was very curious because, obviously he's older. And like you were saying, Ethan, that most of the young people are not fans of the right-wing government that is in control of Israel right now. But I didn't know. I didn't know what his opinions would really be like. So I asked him, and I was relieved to hear that he hates Netanyahu and has been against him for a long time. And I guess I'm just bringing up that point to show that it isn't even just like a young generational thing. I mean, there are a lot of older boomer age people as well.
Here.
That,
Here's Mia Khalifa, okay? Fuck it. This picture is from a video of them in trucks just indiscriminately killing people. They're going through a village and they're just murdering people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video of it. And she tweets it out and said, this is a Renaissance painting.
This is a Renaissance painting?
That's what she said.
It's a weird thing to say.
Fuck that, dude.
It's psychotic.
Fuck that, dude.
It's fucked up.
The murder scene.
You're just
That's like putting on,
you're
like,
just a
murder
terrorist.
scene.
You're just pro-terrorism.
I'm sorry, that's horseshit.
It's fucking disgusting. And like, again, I support Palestine as much as anybody does. And by the way, irony alert, Hamas would love you, Mia. Go enlist.
I see what you're saying.
By the way, I see a lot of people asking, so my family is okay. They're safe. It's really scary. My mom's like scared. She can't, because she's by herself, so she doesn't want to be alone right now. So she's staying with family. Everybody's terrified, and every time I call her, she's crying. I have friends that know somebody that is missing that went to the party. And it's really scary.
Yeah, I mean, your best friend's husband got called into the reserves. One of her friends is missing. You know, Israel's a small country. It affects everybody. And so the callousness towards civilians being slaughtered. I'm not even talking about Israelis. I'm not talking about Palestinians. It's just a callousness towards the slaughter of innocent people. I'll try to find another one. Fuck it while I'm here. Hold on. Let me see. Thank you, Zach. You do? No, but then, like, also I'll say this. There's really psychotic takes on the right, which is more like about how, you know, making crazy sweeping generalizations about Palestinians being all terrorists and shit, which is, you know, equally insane, equally fucked up and horrific. Maybe he unliked it. Hold on. Here. Okay, here. I'm gonna send this. I'm curious what you found, Olivia. Send to people. We're not gonna talk about this whole episode. I'm just saying something about something that's important, and then we'll move on. So this girl, you can pull that up. Now this, go ahead. I sent it in the WhatsApp.
Oh, you sent it in WhatsApp. Sorry.
So this tweet was liked by Matt Lech, he works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report.
Mm-hmm.
I respect him and what they do there. And yet this crazy Hamas apologist propaganda, he's liking it. This girl, there's a video of her being kidnapped. I think this happened at the Nature Party, where she just witnessed 300 people, some odd, being absolutely slaughtered in cold blood. So look at this, scroll up. So this fucking propagandist liar says she wasn't murdered, R-worded, or abused. Footage shows her moments later safe in Gaza. So here she is with a bottle of water after the same people just fucking murdered 300 people in cold blood. Murdered them right in front of her. You know, how is this proof? I don't even know if this picture was taken before. It may have been even taken before she was captured. But how is this proof that Hamas is some kind of humanitarian? They're going to take good care of her. They just killed 300 of her friends in front of her. What are you talking about? Don't you see that this is like Hamas whitewashing propaganda? Am I wrong? It's fucking insane. It's like, she's fine, you guys. You know, and this girl, by the way, her dad has been going on the media talking about how he supports two states and wants peace and, you know what I mean, and is against the violence. Even, you know, even after his daughter, who I'm sure has the same exact politics as him, was fucking kidnapped and all of her friends killed in front of her. And that's her husband, by the way, who's being taken at gunpoint, probably murdered. And by the way, Hamas says they're going to start murdering civilians one at a time on TV. So I'm sure they're going to take really good care of her. Like Hamas is some kind of humanitarians that follow like rules of engagement. It's just crazy. I don't know. To me, am I wrong? I mean, that's fucked up. It's like, why are you liking that? All it's doing is just whitewashing Hamas. She's fine. It's crazy. Yeah, they dragged her away. Her boyfriend's missing. He was dragged away right in front of her. Was she paraded around dead? No, I don't think that was her, but there was another girl whose body was just basically people were celebrating and dancing around her corpse and just dragging it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not celebrating that. I'm not celebrating anything like that. And so like, oh yeah, this was another weird story. 23andMe got hacked and people specifically obtained Ashkenazi Jew data. Did you see that story?
We talked about it on Friday. I think you were maybe black.
Okay,
drunk at
yeah,
the time.
that's why I don't remember.
They're gonna come right to my doorstep, dude. Crystal Nacht.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and Israel said they're leveling Gaza. Yeah, and so when the fuck did and I've been saying that that's psychotic too. So then because the government of Israel is psychotic, barbaric freaks, okay, then you're gonna be like Hamas. So you can say then it's cool what Hamas is doing. What's the point of saying that? Saying, yeah, Israel does bad stuff too, right? So what is the point of saying that? You're trying to justify Hamas killing people. Sorry, I don't support either one of them. You know. That's it, man. Fucking gross. I think people are way too comfortable just being pro-terrorist right now. Makes me want to puke. It's going to get worse before it gets better. A lot worse. It's going to get a lot fucking worse, man. Sad. Dude, are you guys even listening to what I'm saying? I do not support Hamas, but it's wild to act like Israel hasn't acted similarly for decades. Bro, are you listening to what I'm saying? Like, are people even listening to the words I'm saying? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it. I'm just saying don't cheer for terrorists who parade around desecrated corpse and kill children and burn families alive. I don't think that that's a crazy take. If you think it is, then let's go invite the Iraqi terrorists who are exacting revenge, well-deserved revenge, to come to your city block and kill every fucking one you love and burn them alive. Cool, man. We deserve it, right? I mean, Americans, do we all deserve to be burned alive because of what our government has done? How much has the American government done? How bad? Do we all deserve to die? How many of you all are fucking keyboard warriors sitting at home in America, okay, and the safety of your home? You deserve to die? Is that what you're saying? Because I don't think you believe that. I don't think you'd be cool. Who's cheering for them? A lot of fucking people. A lot. I don't need to talk about Israel horrible things. I've done that. I talk about the horrible things Israel's done. I've done that. I do that. Thank you. That's all I have to say. So if you think Hamas is dope, just remember that you even more than Israelis perhaps deserve to be burned alive by terrorists and your whole family murdered in front of you. So there you go. In fact, why don't you just make it easier? Why don't you just fly to ISIS and do them a favor and just let them, just serve yourself on a platter for them because you deserve it. Fucking scumbags, freaks, bloodthirsty, savage fucking freaks, man. Oh, here's another Israeli one. Ethan, Hila, I know it's hard to present this position to your audience who have difficult time to accept it, but that's why your statement is very meaningful. People need to hear these things. Thank you, Asaf. And again, I'm not even voicing the smallest support for Israel. I am, again, so opposed to the Israeli government, and I fully acknowledge the cultural genocide, the stealing of land, and the provoking and the creation of terrorism are a result of Israel's actions. I don't doubt that at all. In fact, I mean, that's literally what's happening. And also, Palestinians are not fucking Hamas. So y'all being like, Hamas does a massive terrorist attack and your response is, I support Palestine. You're not doing them any favors because guess what? They're not terrorists. 2 million of those people are probably just peace-loving folks that want to not live in fear and watch their loved ones and homes being blown up.
I mean, Hamas is bringing hell on them too right now. Because you know that Israel is going to react, and that's not going to be good for the innocent people over there either.
It's going to be horrible. There's going to be so many Gazan civilians that are going to die because of Israel, because the Israel government is fucking barbaric, genocidal freaks. And I hate them.
Here come the black helicopters.
Fuck, I know. I hear
You criticize Israel.
You know what I mean? What more do you want me to say? I'm just stopping short of saying.
I guess the chat probably didn't hear it. There was a helicopter flying over the building really low just now.
Basically, I agree with you up to just coming close to saying normal civilians deserve to be murdered alive because of where they were born. I guess that's the only. So if you think that I'm missing the point, then you can fucking go to ISIS and let them kill you for the crimes of your country. Crazy, man. I don't know.
Normalize terror.
Yeah, basically.
Your slogan.
I mean, Israelis are doing terrorists too. They're terrorists. I mean, and they have all the power. Israel has all the power. The power imbalance is crazy, right?
I want to show you something that
Ethan, they're fascists. Oh. I think that listen, I'm not saying that because I don't think that the people in power there are fascists. I just think that label is used very liberally, and I don't think I even really know what it means. But what more do you want me to say? They're genocidal, murderous, fucking war criminals. I mean, Jesus, is that not enough? What, Dan?
I saw something that made me raise an eyebrow this morning. Did you see news about this?
I don't know.
So, and Hila, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but
Okay.
this is pronounced Shin Bet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like the Israeli FBI, right?
I think so.
It's like police, internal police, as opposed to Mossad.
Is it
which
intelligence or enforcement? Because if it's intelligence, more like CIA, I guess.
CIA is international, though. That's why I say FBI, because they're our domestic intelligence service. Anyways, when the head of Shin Bet, the Israeli domestic intelligence service, warned Netanyahu earlier this year that deadly attacks by settlers on Palestinians would increase the security threat to Israel, he was roundly denounced by members of Netanyahu's Likud party. One Likud member of parliament complained, the ideology of the left has reached the top echelons of Shin Bet. The deep state has infiltrated
Shin Bet is basically Shabak. I think that's like the same thing.
It's what?
Shabak. It's like another
What's
way of saying.
Shabak?
Yeah.
What is Shabak?
What is that?
Oh, okay. It's like the defense force or
Probably like military intelligence or something. Well,
yeah.
The key part here is that when they warned that what all of these escalations are going to result in retaliation, they basically told them that they're woke and that they're the deep state.
Dude, Netanyahu needs to be like removed from office right now. Besides for the war crimes, the failure of the military to like intelligence apparatus to see this coming is staggering. And I
saw that this morning too, and I saw that all he said is that he's denying that ever happened or that he ever talked to them. I don't know.
Dude, he needs to be fucking removed. He needs to be thrown in jail. I'm sick of that fucking guy. And it's like the terrorists, I don't know what their objective is exactly, but I'll tell you what's going to happen. Netanyahu, who was so deeply unpopular, is now going to gain a whole new slew of support. He's going to create a full-scale invasion of Gaza with tons of new people backing him up as a result of this, because it's like the wartime, wartime thing. Yeah, exactly. They're afraid. It's the wartime thing. Everyone, nobody wants to remove their leader during a war. And so the only thing that's happened is further entrenching is further dividing the chasm of peace that's between Palestinians and Israelis. There couldn't be anything worse for peace than this. So I don't know what you mean when you say I support Palestine after Hamas kills 700 people. I don't know. What do you mean by that? What do you mean you support Palestine? Do you want like potentially 100,000? I don't know how many are going to die. Tens of thousands? Because that's what's going to result from this. Do you support... I don't know what you mean. You support Palestine, and right after a terrorist attack. I don't get it. I don't understand what's the good thing. What possibly is good is going to come out of this that they think is like righteous. I don't get it. It's crazy. And it really is fucked up how these people they promote Hamas terrorists as freedom fighters for Palestinians.
Yeah,
it's
freedom
not
fighters. It's the most ironic thing.
But they're not. They're not They don't represent the Palestinian people. They're fucking terrorists.
And if anything, this is going to get us further from the objective of peace.
So much further.
This is not going towards peace.
No. And now there's like over 100 hostages. They said this morning they're going to start executing them live, one by one. There's even American hostages that are being held by Hamas. That's going to be American citizens were killed by Hamas during that, and the kidnapping of American citizens. I'm not even sure how that's going to play out in terms of policy, but you know, I don't know. It just doesn't seem that controversial to say that I don't support families being burned alive and kids being murdered and kidnapped. Sorry if that's not woke enough, apparently, for people. That's basically all I wanted to say. Ethan, can you actually point to prominent leftists celebrating Hamas violence? I already did. Free Palestinians calling for an end of apartheid and this brutal cycle. I understand that. Talking about the timing of people who, right after a terrorist attack, whatever. Stupid. Listen, you can choose not to hear what I'm saying, or you can hear what I'm saying. Ultimately, it's up to you. You don't support Palestine? What the fuck? How could you even type that?
Just stop looking at the chat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... Remember...
That person was not listening.
Let's see.
Like, just listen to everything I said. That's it. Just listen to what I said.
It's possible that some people are only joining now half of the conversation.
Dude, I don't want to call people out, okay? I don't want to do it. If you haven't seen what I've seen, then good. Then there's no problem, I guess, in your life. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. And it's really made me sick. If you haven't seen it, then I'm happy. I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? Then good. Great. That's it. What is this PSPS thing people are spamming?
It's probably a Palestinian flag. They don't render in the chat properly.
Okay, I see.
The flag emojis, so it just shows like a symbol usually.
I see. There it is. Thank you, guys. So remember, if I'm not woke enough, then I urge you to surrender yourself to ISIS to pay for the crimes of our country. Please. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please. In fact, you should probably pay for them to come out and murder everyone on your block because we deserve it as Americans. Thanks. Your opinion is not the only right one. So what's the other opinion? That it's okay to kill civilians? That's the other opinion next to mine. So I guess people, yeah, you're right. Some people do believe that. And apparently you do too, you fucking sick freak. All right, thanks. Anything else, Hila?
No, it seems, I don't know. There's also like it's a little hard when there's so much anti-Semitism online too. This is just kind of like opening a way
Yeah.
for them to go wild. So it's kind of hard to see sometimes who really means what.
Of course, right? But then you can't even say that because people go, "Oh, you're not the victim." Like, well, in this case, there were victims. Actually, there were victims, 700 of them plus.
Are and still happening.
All right, shout out to all my pro-terrorist Americans out there. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. That's about it. Thanks, Hila.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for calling in.
Okay, then.
All right. Thanks for nice to see you. I'll see you later, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, she actually hung up.
I mean, this like you're it's crazy. It's crazy. I know it's not about anti-Semitism, but her point is there's a lot of anti-Semitism and, you know, people jump at the opportunity to, but obviously it's not about anti-Semitism, it's about what Israel does to Palestinians. So I understand her point, but it's not one that needs to be made to talk about it. All right. What else is there to say? Anyone want to say anything? Or nobody wants to touch this?
Got any goofs and gaffs in that dock of yours?
I do. I have a lot. Yeah, I'm sure me and Hassan will have a conversation about it. Although I don't think he's going to disagree with what I'm saying. Otherwise, he'd probably be a Hamas supporter, because that's basically all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying let's not slaughter civilians. And I doubt Hassan's going to disagree with that. That would be surprising. That would be surprising. What I've seen Hassan say is like, the terrorism is a result of Israel's occupation, which I agree with, right?
Apparently, the Israeli intelligence service agrees with that take. So it'd be pretty hard to disagree at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's just obtuse to say otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, these things that is the root of terrorism and resistance. It is an option of last resort, and the hardliners in Israel have largely driven people to take violent action as a means of last resort. And that doesn't mean that it's right, but we can understand it and, you know, see it with open eyes without having to embrace it. You know what I mean? Without having to celebrate the slaughter of innocents.
That's it. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, but the proof isn't. I know chat isn't representative, but people are like, "Oh, really? Well, where is it?" It's the people in chats calling me disgusting right now. Like they're there. These are the people I'm talking about because I just said.
Well, I'm seeing lots of people that are insisting that them saying "Free Palestine" does not mean that they support Hamas, and I agree. And I mean, you said that as well. No. But what I was going to say is anyone who's saying people don't actually have that opinion, I've banned about 6 of them who said that no, it actually is great that they're killing them and they should drive them all out. So like to pretend like people don't have that opinion is you're being purposely obtuse. And those are the only people. If you are one of those people that are saying that you support the Palestinians, but you don't necessarily support Hamas slaughtering a bunch of civilians, then you have the same take as Ethan, and you need to take a step back and realize that.
The part that I don't understand is I've seen people online with a take like yours, similar to yours, and just getting totally roasted for any morsel of support for the people of Israel, what they're going through.
Yeah.
That's what I find deeply disturbing with this.
And that's it. People go, oh, really? Well, name one person. It's like everywhere all the time. If you don't see it, great. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't have to prove it to you. I'm just telling you my experience. Just telling you what I see. Again, saying free Palestine does not make you a terrorist. I say free Palestine. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's free Palestine. It's the timing. What's so hard to understand? If the first fucking thing after news breaks that 700 people were murdered is I support Palestine. What does that mean? That means something. What does it mean? That's the first fucking thing. Your thoughts isn't like, oh man, wow, a bunch of civilians were murdered. It's let's go. Let's do more of that. Let's keep it going, guys. Mm-hmm. It's got nothing to do with caring about the freedom of Palestinian people. Just saying, it's like so fucking obvious what it means. Don't need to act silly like that's not what it means. Preemptive support for Palestine is not endorsement for Hamas. We knew what was going to happen after October 7th.
Right. I almost brought this up as a potential explanation of people realizing immediately what the implication of these attacks are in terms of the retaliation and the hellfire that's going to be brought down on Gaza as a result. Which they're not wrong. Yes, that is going to happen.
The news is like they're still counting warm dead bodies.
Right. Yeah. It's what upset
there
you
hasn't
is the
been a
fact
single
that
retaliatory.
It was still playing out, and people are quick to rush to that. But I mean, obviously, this situation didn't start this weekend, and people have very strong opinions about it. And so you're right. Everybody was in quite a rush to get their take out there on the internet. And I can see why that upset you. And you're not wrong. I mean, some people are openly celebrating it, and you're not wrong to be upset about that.
Or
but
like subtly.
I think that there is nuance there for a lot of people that, like that chatter that you just quoted, saying that they preemptively just issuing support to the people in Palestine for what inevitably is going to be the result of this, which is probably just a full-scale invasion at this point.
The other disturbing factor is the anniversary of which it happened on, the 50 years of the Yom Kippur. What happened 50 years ago? Mm-hmm. That gives it such a more disturbing aspect to it, you know.
I suppose.
There it is. Twitter is a rat hole. I say free Ohio.
Free Ohio. So true. That's what we're talking about, right? Palestine, Ohio?
Yeah.
Where the train crash happened?
We need to let them all out. There it is. I don't know what to say. Calling a group of terrorists in the act of murdering people a Renaissance painting, and I mean these tweets are not. These are being widely celebrated, and she's being like massively complimented by.
I know that you gave that as an example just because it was a disturbing one, but Mia Khalifa isn't exactly like a
bro. I know. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
She's getting massive support.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
She can't even return to her home country because of stuff she's done. I mean, she has disrespected her own religion in multiple ways and her own people with some of the shit she's said. So yeah, she's
and then she did like the porn videos in like the
hijab.
The hijab. That's what got them all crazy mad at her, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Lebanon, by the way. I mean, like, who the Thank you, AB. Yeah.
But, yeah, to add on to what Dan was saying in response to saying I stand with Palestine being a preemptive action, Also, it could be in response to the way they're being talked about online and the way they have been talked about both online and in real life. Like, and again, I completely understand where you're saying that it's insensitive. I'm saying from the other's point of view is that everyone is saying, like, look at these animals. These are these animals acting like animals. Some of the people who are posting this, and I don't know, I haven't been on Twitter, could just be saying that I stand with the people, not Hamas, who are now going to be roped in with this because of these terrorist acts.
Right, exactly.
Those aren't the tweets I'm talking about. There's an obvious difference.
Right, but I think it's important to emphasize because that did seem to be where a lot of the pushback was coming from our own chat of people saying just because I said that doesn't mean. I mean, you've made the point.
Bro,
you're saying it's about it, the bodies aren't even cold yet, and
let's fucking talk about the minute the World Trade Center towers are hit and collapse. The first thing you're on Twitter is saying, "I stand with Iraq." I know Iraq didn't do it, but just using it as an example, you know.
Yeah, that would be really
not the
ironic,
fucking
actually,
time.
if they said I stand with Iraq.
You know. But there's a difference too. I'm not talking about people that are like speaking with nuance and shit. I'm not saying you can't say stand with Palestine and shit. It's obvious. You're coming off as a baby. You're coming off as a fucking moron. All right, that's it.
Hey. Anyway,
I'm just saying there's
else
a
we got?
difference. I mean, I know people can say that. There's a difference. I'm talking about the ones of people that weren't having nuanced takes about it.
Right.
But obviously, you can say free Palestine and not be a pro-terrorism. That's like, what? What the fuck? Why are you making me say that? Okay?
All right, what else? How can we cleanse the palate a little bit? Get our minds off this heavy stuff. I see. Yeah, that's a good one. A ring dinger. Very good.
Thank you. Let's see what else we got here. What are we feeling? The new alpha male just dropped for the 20th time.
The third time. Let's. What else we got?
Well, hold on.
Wait, there was there was another story that you were stoked on.
But is that kid gonna call in? Whatever happened with him?
You didn't. He offered to call in tomorrow. I said we're not live tomorrow. We're live today. Can you call in? And he didn't reply.
Okay, because he kept saying like he can only do it at night at a certain time. I wasn't sure. I didn't do the time zone calculation.
Yeah.
He's in the UK and many hours ahead, so the evening is when we're live. But it was more a matter of the day. You can call in to see you next Tuesday tomorrow.
I really want to talk to him.
Have a one-on-one. Have a heart-to-heart.
The show is at 9 o'clock for him. It's after his bedtime, probably.
After his bedtime?
Yeah.